Begin transmission. Hello, everybody. It is Chris, aka Star Raptor, here for episode 216 of the Outer Rim Transmission Podcast. I am joined by my buddy Fighter this week because if you couldn't tell already with his background, we're diving deep into Destiny. And we're like, wait, no, this is a Star Wars podcast. What's going on? But the best things of two worlds have collided. We have a Star Wars inspired Destiny expansion we're going to be reviewing, talking about tonight, called Destiny 2 Renegades. Welcome to the show. It's not the first time you're on the channel, but it's the first time you're on this podcast. So how's it going, man?
I think it's going good. It's going good, yeah. Normally I'm with you near the end of the year talking about the games that we played with some of the other two gentlemen that we have, or that you have.
Yep.
But I'm really excited to talk about this because, like you said, it's two franchises in the galaxy very far away that have come very close.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Really cool. I've been looking forward to this discussion. This is a game expansion that we've known has been coming, but it kind of it wasn't until the first the last 2 weeks where I was like, oh yeah, this is actually coming out, and then I started getting hyped. But it was kind of on the back burner with my mind for a while there. But especially because Destiny 2 had the Edge of Fate expansion, which actually came out earlier this year. I was like, one expansion is not enough, so Bungie had to give us two, and one of them is just so good with Renegades. So we're just going to take care of some housekeeping as we usually do. The only Star Wars I'm going to mention is that the comic that came out this week was Legacy of Vader, issue number 11, and it's the penultimate issue. I have my review of it on the channel. All the Kylo Ren goodness stuff coming out in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, so go ahead and check out that video for that. But we're going to jump right in. We're going to jump right in without further ado. So I'm going to throw it to you, man. What's your experience with Destiny? Going way back, how long you've been playing the game, all that good stuff.
Oh, jeez, Lord. This has been a game since back in PS4 when they started doing the beta for Destiny 1. And then it just, I believe, for 12 long years, I just been playing with it, making memories with friends, having a good time, being there for the highs, being there for the lows. But it's a game that I can't put down. It's a game that always brings me back because it's just has a lot of fun moments that I can make with friends and always start up a good conversation, especially when it comes to the lore. I'm sure there's plenty of Star Wars lore that you can tell me that you could just go all out on end. It's the same thing with the Destiny. It's sometimes you get those low pockets, but it's always the lore. The lore is always a good point in the game, and it's always fun to come back to, even if you just put down the controller for a couple seasons.
And that's the thing about Destiny is I take that approach myself sometimes. I also do believe I played the beta, was my first experience with the game, the original. And at that time, it was 3 console generations ago on the 360. And
that's right.
That was the strike, right? There was a strike mission where you're going against the boss at the end as one of the fallen guys, right?
The Devil's Lair, the OG strike.
Yeah, and as I'm playing that game, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like Star Wars, because you have these different species, whether it be the Cabal or the Fallen or the undead-esque kind of looking things with the Hive, and then different versions of each of them that build the complexity, and the Vex as well, which are basically droids. So even back then, before Star Wars wasn't connected, you could kind of see the idea, because when it comes to Star Wars is not science fiction, which actually would confuse a lot of people. They're like, what are you talking about? No, it's actually science fantasy. So it's a certain amount of science fiction stuff, but mixed with the Force with fantasy. And that's actually exactly what Bungie made with Destiny. It's kind of like a medieval kind of stuff a little bit, but it's mixed with the, supernatural powers, like your supers and all this kind of stuff, where it's almost like they're channeling the Force this entire time. So, it's only natural now that we actually get this crossover. And they were already flirting with bringing Star Wars stuff in, as we knew, a while ago. They brought in the Darth Vader skin, the Stormtrooper skin. And, of course, as a resident Star Wars head, I'm buying all of that stuff as it comes out. I don't even want to give you guys a number of how much
trust
money
me,
I've probably spent.
It was a big number. Trust me. He would tell me how many. He would tell me, "Yo, I'm buying all these skins." I'm like, I believe it. But I'm also
Yeah,
guilty as charged. We all
yeah,
like a little Star Wars.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go, there we go. But yeah. So let's just dive on into the overall story. So basically, Bungie and Lucasfilm Games collaborated on this expansion, and nobody was really sure going into this, like how much Star Wars it would be. Would it be overbearing? Would it just be like way too much, or would it not be enough? And I mean, my personal take on it is I think they did a fantastic job with really building in the Destiny lore that intertwines with Star Wars lore so nicely. And as like I said off the top, it's like because these are both science fantasy kind of different IPs, we'll talk about there's like prophecies, and there's like the chosen one aspect as like each person is thinking they're the weapon, whether it be Bail, whether it be your guardian, things like that, that really just work so nice. But then when you look into it, it's like, okay, you got the weapons, you got the blasters, you got the sabers, like, this stuff that is so iconic with Star Wars that makes so much sense in the world of Destiny. But I guess just what's your overall first impressions of the expansion? We're not even a week in. The dungeon isn't even out yet, so we can't even really, I guess, completely review this thing. But I think we've had enough time with the expansion between the two of us to at least come away with having a good idea about it. So just let us know what your thoughts are off the top, man.
Well, just like you said, there's a bunch of Star Wars references. Like I can spot out the stormtrooper yell getting shot off of the
Yeah.
cliff, the Cabal. I saw that. I was like, really? They really put that thing in there? That's good. I like that. It's a little small nuances that like got me to crack a smile. But on the other spectrum, there are people that I've played with that also say that they felt like it's a little too heavy in some of the Star Wars aspects, but they also understand that this is also a crossover event. So obviously they have to put some type of working effort between the two franchises, so they can kind of like put that aspect down and then just look towards what they really look for, like the gameplay, the loot, the grind, stuff that makes Destiny feel like Destiny. But as far as the story goes, I do think we're going to get a lot more heavy swings when it comes into characters and introductions with this plot line. Because now, like you played it, you're coming in with the nine, the prophecy that we were told during the Edge of Fate campaign, and even then, the Edge of Fate didn't do too well on the selling side, but it still had its key points of story where we're getting to start something new. We're getting into the next saga, and what will the saga bring forward?
Mm.
Um, I do think that the dungeon is going to be a lot of key points for some Destiny players,
Mm.
because a dungeon is supposed to be fun, but it's also supposed to be difficult. It's
Mm.
supposed to give you that challenge because it's part of the end game activities. It's not meant to be as hard as a raid, which some of those raids can be a doozy if you're not doing the right things or have the right setup. But a dungeon is also meant to be somewhat in between. It's supposed to be challenging, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be giving you that rush, that dopamine hit of we're in this, things are going on, what am I doing? Why is that guy glowing? But a lot of the details are going to come down to that. But when it comes to like the flawless frontier, I've been doing a lot of invasions and a lot of jobs
Oh
in
yeah.
that game mode. Um, my concern with that is just as far as if they're going to be constantly paying attention to feedback and changing it. As far as the 3v1 aspect, is the invader going to get certain buffs because maybe he can't get
Mm.
the momentum he needs, or is he doing too much damage to the point where the players can't get a chance to defend themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, I mean, so like you have the story, you have the campaign. Right. We know like Destiny doesn't live and die by the campaigns. Like that's the tip of the iceberg. You get through the campaign, and then as you're talking about these frontier jobs and missions where you're working with these syndicates and you're pledging your allegiance and all that sort of thing. Now having done the campaign, now having spent a good amount of time in the end game, what would you like overall think so far about the whole package right now, kind of?
I think the general consensus is that it's good. It was better than its counterpart of Edge of Fate, but there are aspects that could have been a little bit more. Like one of
Mm.
the YouTubers I watch, he stated that like the voice acting was great. It was really good,
Oh yeah.
but there was very little of it. Like we could have gotten a little bit more cutscenes. A lot. The consensus was that the story aspect of it was a little short as far as missions go,
Oh
because you
okay.
had a couple of campaign missions, and then you got a lot of helping the syndicate missions, which felt like seasonal activity esque things instead of a
Hmm.
campaign mission. But I definitely think that as far as the general consensus is, it's better than Edge of Fate.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, Edge of Fate definitely changed Destiny quite a bit in ways I really don't like because in Destiny, like well, actually the last one was the Witch Queen. That was the last time we got a nice zone destination where we could go ahead and we could just go at our leisure and do the what is it called, patrol missions, and we could go and spend time. And then now with this new saga, it seems like Bungie has taken a step back and made it almost more like a solo experience. But and they heard the feedback because now with Fort Tarsus, we have at least one social area back, which is really cool because it's basically Mos Eisley. So I'm loving it. I'm always hanging out there. You can go to the cantina and just chill and live your Star Wars wannabe life and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so like Final Shape really was a nice way to end that saga. Now we're getting into it with this, and I want to talk a little bit about the villains, or like you mentioned these people called the Nine, and they're like these gods of the galaxy and universe, and then they're inhabiting other people, like they possess like flesh and blood people to speak through, and then those people get powers. And then you have these other things called the Dredgen. Can you explain what those are? Because I'm a little bit hazy on what the difference between a Nine and a Dredgen is.
So, in order to understand the nine, you need to go. You need to be back in D1 with a character named Zur. Zur, as you
Oh
are
yeah.
aware, he is this character that brings us goodies, some exotics and some can. He's like, what are you selling, Guardian? What are you buying? But he was the first. He was an emissary before the emissary of Edge of Fate. So he was the
Oh.
second one. He was the test run, as you would call. He
Oh.
wa- he couldn't handle it all that much. So essentially, he went almost kind of, he didn't have a mind of his own. That's why anytime he says or he talks, he goes, "My will is not my own," because he doesn't have a will. He doesn't have a choice. But these nine are essentially four dimensional godlike beings. They existed before the soul system, before the traveler.
Wow.
So, and each of these nine are a replicant of our solar system. So, one being Mercury, two being Venus, three being Earth, four being Mars, and so on and so on. And
Oh.
you have what's called the inner nine and the outer nine.
That's what I want to know
And
about.
so the inner nine are the closest ones to the sun. The outer nine
Oh.
are the ones far away from the sun. That's how you would
Okay.
classify them. So probably about after Mars, it's probably when it starts becoming to the outer nine. Um, and these beings, they pull strings. They see, because they're four dimensional. They see time not as we do. They see past, present, and future all at the same time.
Hmm.
So sometimes it's like they try not to see anytime that they see a threat, they don't want to technically be involved. But when it becomes too much of a threat to themselves as well, that's when they start pulling at the strings of pulling Lodi, the new
Mm-hmm.
emissary, Ikora from her timeline to being into the timeline we, the Guardian, know.
Mm.
Um, and during that, that's when they're like, they all have self-interest. They all think by themselves, but they all act as a simple cohesion, or more like a court, like the Jedi's court.
Oh, okay.
There's always a court of people.
Huh.
But they only have one person, the emissary, speak for them or speak
Yep.
through them.
And that's what Lodi is doing now.
That's what Lodi is. Lodi is the new emissary because the old one, I forget her name. She's a
3?
no. 3 was the one that was our our 9. That's
Oh,
why in
wait.
the Edge of Fate he says, "My children of Earth."
That girl. I know the girl you're talking about. That was an Edge of Fate,
Her
right?
her
She dies or
correct.
something.
Well, no, she separates herself. She fights back and breaks free. And so the 9 are like, "Okay, you want to be done? We'll just pick somebody else." Unfortunately, it was Lodi. Um,
So we were talking about the 9. Now I understand. Now are the outer and the inner at war with each other? Like there's references to the outer and inner in terms of Dredge and Bale and the Sixth. Now,
so on that aspect, I don't know if they're at war, but Six definitely did his own thing. He went essentially rogue. That's why in the campaign, Lodi said that all the other 9 didn't know that what he was doing, like they weren't aware of them, because they couldn't see him essentially. So
mm,
essentially, he went under the radar to do his own thing. Um, but in that aspect of as far as war, I'm sure there will be some type of potential civil war going on, or there might be more frictioning and fracting from between the inner and the outer.
mm, okay, okay,
Because, like I said, each of the 9 are their separate entities. So we already heard what Six had to say about the inner. Who's to say what the other outer or
yeah,
inner are
yeah.
saying?
Oh man, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. But I can see some people be like, inner what? Outer what? Who? What? But
Well, the
yeah,
9 don't have names; they just have numbers. That's why there is just 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Whose
Um,
planet was 3 connected to? Because you said they're both like.
Earth.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, the numbers represent the planets in the solar system. So
Yeah.
Earth being the third planet in the solar system,
Okay.
our 9 member is just 3. And in Edge of Fate, we found out that unfortunately, he died due to a certain individual's output and what she wanted to do. I hate that. I hate that woman so much. Well, no, because of her, now it's like now we gotta figure out why. Because that leads into the whole prophecy. The whole prophecy is in order for us, the Guardian and the humans of Earth, to survive or to avoid extinction, we need to bind the 9, and that's what this whole Renegades campaign was about. Was
Yeah.
us figuring that one stopping the force that's trying to unalive Guardians in a massive wave, and trying to figure out what it means to bind the 9.
Mm. And that's kind of where we lead into exactly with this expansion. Just like any Star Wars film, movie, TV show, you start off in space and you see the classic shot of this vessel getting pursued by a much larger vessel, overhead shot, of course. And then
Mhm.
we get right into it. So it's like you got one aspect of the story that's like the escape from the Death Star. Then you got another aspect where it's like fighting on Jabba's sail barge above a pit of Carcoon. Then you have another instance where it's like you got to defend this frozen base from these walkers, and another one's like we got to get to this super weapon. We have to take down the shield generator first. Like so, there's all these like very inspired, obviously, to Star Wars points of the story, and I thought that was pretty cool because it really feels Destiny because you got these same enemies and all, and it's you got your own original characters, but then you have this aspect of oh we are doing something a little differently, but it's moving our story a little bit differently. So I mean, what did you think about those moments, like progressing through the campaign at this point, like going like, oh, that feels like this part, or that feels like that part from this, but it's a Destiny spin.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. Like you definitely see the influence of where Star Wars is, but it's Destiny fashion. Because like you're saying, you're on this Death Star. You gotta shut down the shields, and then you gotta hit the core, and then you're going away, and then obviously you finish the campaign. I'm not gonna put the spoiler alert out there, but you know what happens near the end. Um, but it's definitely more or less Star Wars fashion, but Destiny style as well. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's a good hybrid mix, but you can definitely see where both studios are working coherently
Mm-hmm.
to show off their own styles of each other. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
believe the music was done by Sal Torre, the original guy of the Destiny music. So I believe they brought him back, and he worked closely with the orchestra of Lucasfilms. So I believe that he had a very good hand in it, and we could hear the whole
Oh
the Sith march or Vader's entrance, or I forget what
yeah.
technically that's called, but it was definitely done in a style of Destiny music.
I absolutely love the music because it really gives its own flavor. But I could tell, like you said, there's certain motifs we know in Star Wars, like Vader's March or like the Clone Troopers, and different things from Revenge of the Sith and whatnot. And I'm hearing like a little hints at different octaves that are not exactly the same notes or the rhythm, but it calls to mind that nostalgia for me. And I'm like, oh, that's freaking brilliant because they're timing it with these different factions that would make sense with, or these different planet locations that look like other planets in Star Wars. And you're hearing this music, and it's like this weird sensation where it's like, it's almost like that, but it isn't, you know? And I think that they did such another inspired, really well done work there because part of Star Wars is like the music. And if you take yourself with the music out of it, it's not quite the same thing. So this definitely dialed it up for me.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So
asked questions about the dredging because I know
yes,
that's
yes,
where we're
yes.
going. I know where that's where we're going to be heading to shortly as well. Um, Dredgens are what are called guardian killers.
Oh,
They are they don't necessarily play by the rules of the Vanguard, and had to they're very in tune with the darkness. So like Hive, the Witness, and stuff like that. They've been corrupted in a sense. So it's like perfect example would be Anakin when he's starting with the light, and then next thing you know he becomes Darth Vader. It's
yeah.
kind of like that transition. They start slowly leaning away from the light and start leaning towards the dark and the hive magic and all that dark evil corruption. And the more they do it, the more corrupted they become. So that's why like Thorn, the one iconic gun in Destiny, was
Yeah.
originally a human weapon called Rose by a certain Dredgen known as Yor. He then started messing around with Hive magic and started, being like, I kind of like this power, I kind of like having it all there. And his weapon became more corrupted. And then that's when it became known as Thorn because it shoots out these dark thorn-like bullets that can penetrate through a guardian's armor and their light and kind of almost siphon it off to make them killable.
Oh my gosh.
Dredgens are no joke. They are not fun. So it's definitely one of those. If you see a Dredgen, you better be prepared for a fight.
So now that's where this leads perfectly. Thanks for that explanation. That was great, man. With Dredgen Hope, aka
Drifter,
Drifter.
aka
So he.
Jermaine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one. You're gonna be
That's his
dropped.
human name. Is your name, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa! Don't call me by that name. I haven't used that name in a very long time.
So like, he used to be a Guardian killer, you're saying, but he's working with the Vanguard now. So what happened there?
So, not every Dredgen is a Guardian killer. A lot of Dredgens understand the philosophy of what you're started with. In order to protect light, you need to understand the dark.
Okay.
But the more he delved into it, the more corrupt he became. So, Dredgen Hope, Drifter, he wasn't he wasn't a Guardian killer.
Okay.
He was more of a different spectrum of the Dredgens were the shadows of Yor. They are or shadow hunters, I believe. They
Huh.
went after Dredgens in their own faction to keep them from going out and about and causing mishaps. So it was more
Hmm.
of like we'll deal with our own kind first before it gets out, and they do more damage.
Oh, okay.
And Drifter didn't. He wanted to get out. He didn't want to deal with that anymore. So that's where he left. He doesn't call himself Dredgen anymore. He just calls himself Drifter. But somehow his past always came up to sneak up on him and bite him. Because even in one other season, when we were learning about how he got that giant rock attached to his ship,
Yeah.
there was a Dredgen Guardian in front of him. And now this Dredgen Guardian wasn't mean or anything. He was just talking, and he's like, they're just playing a good old Gambit game and everything. And I'm assuming the conversation was he wanted to do something, and Drifter was like, nah, man, I'm done. I don't want any part of this. And unfortunately, this Guardian pulls out the thorn and was going to kind of confront him, being like, you're going to do what I say or else I'm going to shoot a bullet at you. And then that's when Drifter does what Drifter does. He flicks his coin, catches it, and he goes, who? Behind you. And he summons a Taken, and this Taken captain just slaps it out of him. So Drifter, he just wants to live in peace, He just wants to be left alone from his past.
Oh,
but
man.
in this campaign, it comes back to bite him full force.
So does every Dredgen, they were originally a guardian, right? Like they have powers of the Traveler.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them either had their ghosts, like Drifter, or some of them, in honor of Dredgen Yor, the first Dredgen, they got rid of their ghosts because they don't want to be tied down to the light. It's almost as like that's why Bale, Dredgen Bale, wanted him to crush Drifter, wanted him to crush his ghost to show allegiance in a way. To re-spark that allegiance of being a Dredgen.
Wow, that adds so much more
the
context.
light being nothing more than a shackle.
Oh.
And that's why Bale's weapon, Nightfall, only went after Guardians, those with light.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is totally like the Sith, man. They are so like the Sith.
I told you, the lore is good. I can go, especially from Dredgen Yor, there's so many other spin-offs that you can go. You can go to the one that killed him, Shin Malfur, the man with the golden gun. He was the one that started the Shadows of Yor. He's the one that said, I'm going to pick up the mantle of Dredgen and play both sides. And I'm going to make sure that any Wile E. Coyote Dredgens get out of line, I'll put them down first.
Dang. Yeah.
Lore goes deep.
So jumping off that point, I want to just get into talking about certain characters that we got to experience in the campaign. So talking about Gambit, and I'm going to relate them to different characters in Star Wars. Like, he is our Han Solo character, without a doubt. He is that rogue, that scoundrel, that's cunning guy, that's going to go out there, have the jokes that have that charisma and that confidence. And, well, I mean, he's mimicking Han Solo even in the game. In the first moments, he gets himself turned into basically like stasis, which is carbonite in this universe, carbonite, which is stasis in this universe. So, as you said, like this is almost basically his story,
Yes. Drifter is in charge of what you said, Gambit. He is the hot shot, the guy that thinks that he can get the scoundrel. He's the con man. He is a con artist between playing both sides of light and dark. But he always ends up doing what is right. Or he at least tries to do what is right on the information that he has. Or he doesn't want to get other people involved if it becomes too risky. He becomes that solo flyer.
Yeah, so he definitely provided that role, which is a big archetype in Star Wars. We always have some kind of smuggler guy who's on the outside part of the law and whatnot. But we also have a brand new character, and that is this a Praxis follower, which we'll get into that whole organization. Her name is Anon. Is it Anon? What? I didn't write it down.
Anor, I think.
Anor, yes. Anor. So this is our stand-in for a Jedi Knight. Like this is straight up a warlock character that's part of this Praxis Order, which mimics the Jedi Council, the Jedi Order, and they deal. We were talking about the Dredgen with the dark, and now we're talking about the Praxis with the light. And they even have these things called Praxis blades, which focus their light. So what'd you think about this new character? Because she's never been in Destiny before.
No, she is a new introduction, but the Praxis Order has definitely been in
Oh,
Destiny before.
huh.
The Praxis Order is they essentially work under the Vanguard. They're like you said, they're the Jedi um, in this game, but they definitely they try to keep anything that's darkness artifact based or anything corrupted with the darkness under wraps. So they're the ones that go after. So like I said, if the Shadows of Yore can't get a hold of them, a Praxis Praxis Order member will go after this Guardian or this target
Hmm.
and try to either nip it or like, try to get them to come back to the light or secure it and put it under wraps so that way it stays out of public knowledge.
Wow.
Um, she's also not the first one that was mentioned. Actually, the first one to be mentioned of a Praxis Order was Ariana. She
Hmm.
was part of the first fire team to go to uh, into the Crota home, his domain. That's the word I'm
Okay.
looking for. She was a warlock, and she
Hmm.
was the one that was also with Eris. She was part of the
Oh.
same fire team. So
Wow.
a Praxis Order member went to this hive to this darkness area to try to either put an end to Crota before he got out of hand, or
Yep.
essentially die trying. And unfortunately, it was the latter. She unfortunately did perish at Crota's blade. There's another member that was also introduced, but we didn't see her during the vanilla Destiny 2 Legacy. Her name was Takio 3. She was another warlock, I believe. And her strike was the Savathun Saw. She was the one. She's talking to us, trying to get save her fire team from this giant shrieker that's channeling once again a hive magic ritual to bring in Savathun. And we went down there to put a stop to it. But unfortunately, the only way that we could stop it was her sacrificing her light to make some type of
Hmm.
crystal, something to link Savathun's song to our world to shut down. So needless to say, the Praxis Order are definitely the ones that are willing to sacrifice themselves to get the job done and to keep order, to do justice.
Hmm. All right. Yeah, and we get to see the complete opposite of this character with Dredge and Bale that we were talking about earlier, and I thought they did an awesome job with this character. This guy, he looks like a cross between Kylo Ren and Darth Revan with the mask and the hood up. But he's also got a very similar likeness to Adam Driver with his voice. He sounds a lot like Kylo Ren. And even his behavior is quite a bit like Kylo Ren because we see him lashing out. Aenor gets away. He's killing his own guys and just having a temper tantrum. But
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like Kylo Ren in a way where it's like he's got this voice in his head with this the six character who's in his head, and he's trying to get pulled back to the light. It seems like with Drifter at one point, so he's got to battle his own mind, and you see that he struggles to contain his composure. I thought that this was a really cool character. My only gripe about it was we never got to fight him, but other than that, I thought he was great.
Yeah, no, when that first entrance of where he comes in, he's just I'm like, I want his armor. I want that jacket. I
Yeah.
want that man. I want his armor. I want to be looking cool like this guy. But God only knows. It's like when somebody did a good job on a character that's like he's so cool, but I goddamn hate him.
Yep.
Like somebody did the right way of designing, acting him, and everything. When you're just like, I like him, but I also hate him.
Yeah, and we see that he does get away at the end, but I could only hope that we see more of him because he has left quite an impact. There's been Destiny villains that have come and gone, and a lot of them aren't really that memorable in my opinion. But at least he stands out a little bit more because like it seems like there could be maybe a redemption story for him, and I think that there's a way back. We know he was a guardian at some point, obviously. Uh, so I want to definitely see more of him.
Um, as far as the redemption goes, I don't think he'll take it because he has a very found deep hatred for Guardians. And if you can remember during the campaign mission when Drifter took off his hand, he's looking for his ghost. His ghost never showed up. So a lot of, I believe either he was a Guardian at some point and he got rid of his ghost, or he's just lightless. He doesn't have a ghost. He's not a Guardian. They assumed he was a Guardian because of being involved with the Dredgens and everything, and it's Dredgens are always universally connected with a Guardian. But in lore context, with his, once again, I highly recommend reading these lore cards. You find out that he's actually the son of the Tex Mechanica founder.
Huh.
So he's a foundry member of Weapon Techsmiths.
Huh.
And we find out that his mother unfortunately passed away during a raging inferno, and it's been 3 years that she's been gone, and all of a sudden she's walking around in the market, and Bale finds her, and obviously he's overwhelmed with emotions, and he goes and hugs her, but unfortunately she pushes him away, and that sparks this raging inferno, because as you know, Guardians that are resurrected lose all memory of who they were in the past. And so that's where his spark of hatred came from with Guardians. So I don't think there might be a way that maybe Drifter pulls him to his side and keeps him as an underling to be like teaching him the right and wrong. But I don't know if he'll actually ever not be hateful towards Guardians to the city. I think he has a very deep-rooted hatred towards the Vanguard and Guardians alike.
Yeah, it's to see that. I wish they could have done that with dialogue, because that's a whole part of character. And I'm like, well, I find that so interesting. The origins of why he's so angry all the time. Why? Oh, we just have to read this lore card. Well, great.
Well, listen, that's why I got 4. I need to go find the other volumes. I got 4 lore books up in my bookshelf.
Oh man. Another thing I really liked was the setup of, okay, we have Zavala in the Vanguard, and the whole idea, like, why is this even called Renegades, other than it dealing with like a bunch of like ne'er-do-wells, like bounty hunters and syndicates and all that kind of thing. It's neat because like it's basically resistance. It just dawned on me, dude. This moment, it just dawned on me why it's called this, and why they gave it the rebel symbol. Because in the sequel trilogy of the Star Wars, you have the government called the New Republic, and they are like the Vanguard. They are in charge of the civilians, and they are the overseers, and they want to keep the galaxy safe. But then there's a splinter faction that comes out called the First Order, and they are so high and mighty they don't think anything of it. Oh, they'll never be a big deal. Blah blah blah. We don't have to deal with them. But then Senator Leia at that time was like, no, they are a serious threat. So she actually secedes from the Senate and builds up this like paramilitary group called the Resistance to do what the freaking New Republic won't do. And that's to fight the First Order. And that's exactly what these renegades, aka their own resistance in this, your people separate from the Vanguard to go fight the Imperium. And that was exactly the same way as the sequel trilogy happened. So I'm very happy that I just found that out of the blue right there. But maybe it was more noticeable. I just didn't catch it. But yeah, what's your thought on that? And this Splinter, we could talk about the Splinter Cabal group too, because they're interesting with this Premier Lupe. And then you got all this technology. They brought the blaster tech in with them and all that.
So, as far as it comes down to like the Renegade scenario, it's definitely that Splinter Cell up. Zavala understands that this Splinter Cell group needs to be out there, but he can't sanction him
Yeah.
himself because his attention is back home, back at the last city. He wants to protect the people. So that's why, like, more or less, he's like, I'm not gonna stop you because one, you're the Guardian, I can't do anything about it. Two, I understand that this is a threat that is coming towards us very quickly. So he's like, I won't pressure. I won't tell you not to do it. He's like, just whatever you do, be safe, get it done. Don't do anything reckless. Which
Yep.
obviously we always find a way to be reckless. But as far as the other, like in the factions, that's where our will army, so to speak, is obviously it's a bounty hunter-esque world. So people are like, pay me enough, or it's like we're pulling a favor for favor, eye for eye. And that's where our reinforcements are to take on this Imperium, the Imperium. These legionnaires that were no longer under Kaido's reign because they just didn't like the fact that she's no longer Cabal. She's not that warrior, that fighter that's like, we must conquer everything. And she's more on our side where she built an allegiance. So that's where they go off, and that's where Six, aka Judge and Bale, comes in, and he's like, well, listen, you and I, we don't like these Guardians. We don't like the Vanguard. Let's join the forces. And that's exactly what he does. He helps them build. He supplies them with the armor, the weapons. And then you have Totality Division, another sanction op group that splintered off from the Imperium. They're like, I really don't like where this is going, and I don't want to not be supportive of other people, but also not to be ruled by other people. So they went and did their own thing. Same thing with the Vex group, I believe it's called. No, Pikers are the Fallen.
That's a hard name. It's not with a T.
Tarsus Reformation is what they're called. They are splintered off Vex from Maya Thunderdash, the woman who triggered this event of the prophecy. Like I said, I hate that woman.
Yeah, freaking.
We could have all been fine, but no. But once again, that's the problem that she created. She created these Vex that are constantly evolving. Like, if I had to compare these to another sentient life, to a different game, would be the Geth from Mass Effect. They became self-aware, self-sustaining. So that's why they're over there, because they're thinking for themselves. And it's kind of funny how they're all dressed up in paint. Like, some of them are wearing clothes, some of them are wearing gloves. And I'm like, that's funny. I don't know why. I don't know why they're wearing clothes, but I dig it, and I like it.
Oh, dude, that's direct. Let me interject real quick, because that's a direct reference to ND5 from Star Wars Outlaws, which is the most recent Star Wars game. There's literally a BX Commando droid that walks around wearing a freaking trench coat. And it's great because he's got this badass attitude about him. So I'm like, oh, they took that from that. But that's so cool. Like, I appreciate, like, yeah, there's not really any new units per se in the game. Like, there's no new mechanical different enemy that we haven't really fought before in Destiny. But they changed the aesthetics of them, and like there's another thing. Those newer enemies that are, I think they're Vex, or maybe they are Fallen, where they're like a floating hover droid, and you shoot it, then the small ones come after you.
I believe they're called Gremlins.
Yeah, so they basically changed how they look, so they all look like little probe droids, because we all know probe droids do the self-destruct maneuver from Empire Strikes Back.
And that's what makes them terrified. Any unit that's like, oh, our leader's dead, everything just goes kaboom and seeks you out is extremely terrifying. That's why with my friends, anytime that we see a Screeb going AWOL coming at you, the word Screeb comes out in big terror, because it's like, oh crap, I didn't see him, now I'm dead.
Yeah, and what was another cool thing was when you're in Tharsis, Fort Tharsis, you go to this one area, and that's where you find Spider, who is like our shoe-in for Jabba the Hutt. And like his room looks pretty much identical to Jabba's palace where he's sitting on this throne. It's great.
Well, the good thing about Spider is that we've already formed a connection, a buyer, seller, and protector kind of deal, because that's what he's always said. He's like, I won't hurt a well interest investment, and it's like, you goddamn right you won't, because you know what will happen. Somebody will come after you, and who do you have to call? Me. So deal with it.
Yeah, I
But
do.
he's definitely
Yeah.
our underground person, where it's like, if we need help, he's gonna give us some information. But obviously, we gotta do some work for him. If anything, he's a man of his word.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So those are the characters. Like you got the Pikers, which are basically the Pikes from Star Wars. They're like the swoop bike gang. You got the Totality Division, which is I don't even know what their analogous Star Wars person would be. But then you have the Vex, which are like gosh, what there's a certain droid organization that's all about like the free thinker droids. Somebody will probably correct me later in the comments, but it was from one of the solo books. The droid Gatra. Yeah, that's right. The droid Gatra. Bunch of just sentient droids milling about, just doing jobs. So you got all this stuff happen on basically bars, which they look just like Mos Eisley. And I think that's our next topic is talking about the environment. So we had mentioned you're in like a Death Star sort of location, aka Star Destroyer. But then you go to Mars, and it's legit Tatooine. As I said, like you got Jabba's sail barge out there. You got the skiffs. You got the Sarlacc pit, which you could actually die if you jumped in, because I actually figured that out myself just to make sure. You got
For science, right? For science.
yeah, I just jumped right in. Actually, it might be one of these clips that I've been having play in the background as we're talking here. Somebody will probably catch it. But yeah, just what were your thoughts? Because while I'm a little bit disappointed, as we said, that they're not these like, hey, spend as much time as you want to go ahead and move around and do the I always forget the patrols. The patrols, like you can't patrol the planets, but you do these activities that you're going to be doing a lot. So what are your thoughts on the locations and how they modified the locations, and what do you feel?
I feel like they definitely did a good job between hybriding the maps between a Star Wars-esque theme and keeping the destinations to what the Destiny portrayed them. Because, like you said, you have Mars being Tatooine, but it's still that red, sandy, and dusty planet that we came to know throughout the story of the campaign
Yeah.
of Destiny. Then you have Venus being the swamplands. There's definitely, I'm sure you found it, the reference with the X-wing being in the swamp and everything else.
Oh my gosh, I
Uh,
didn't get that. That
how,
is, you
brother,
know what was funny
look at Star
though?
Wars fan here.
You know what's funny though? I took note. I took note that it was specifically an ARC 170. I have like over 2 pages of notes of Easter eggs. I was like, oh, that's cool. There's just a fighter in the mud.
Right, but then it's still that Venus, that dark greenery that we came to understand that Venus is a Vex infused planet, and it's all that swamp esque. Like, even when you face the Vex there, one of the enemies of the bounty hunt, his name is literally Miami. So I think it's literally
What?
just funny how they just, it's like, oh, swamp, Florida, might as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's cool. I found Yoda's hut there. I love towards the end of the campaign as I made a reference to like taking down the shield generator. So you're literally jumping through tree villages of the Ewoks and you're fighting against ATSTs at the shield generator location. It doesn't get cooler than this, especially we'll talk about the Praxis blades a little bit. But yeah, then you also have the Snow Planet, which is like a cross between Hoth and Starkiller's base from The Force Awakens. I don't know if you caught this one, but did you see that there's like people hanging upside down, frozen with their legs to the ceiling?
Oh, a buddy of mine did, and then when I started running by it, I'm like, oh, look, that's what he meant.
Yeah, and there's like bones down there, just like you would see with the Wampa. So I'm like, oh, is there a Wampa Easter egg? Is there an enemy I can kill? It's something like that.
God only hope if there was something that popped out of nowhere, I'd be terrified. Be like,
Oh
what
man.
did this? Oh my God, what is that?
Yeah. So I thought they did just a fantastic job because I've played through some of these levels multiple. Actually, I've played through all these levels multiple times, but I'm still like stopping, and going, oh, I didn't notice that before. And there's like a lot of diversity. Like, yeah, you're playing on the same mission all the time, the same like planet, but they vary the landscape quite a bit. It's not like it's not getting old yet, you know?
Well, yet being the key word there, unfortunately, this is stuff that we have to deal with for the next couple months before the new title update, like they did with
Yeah.
Edge of Fate. But it's definitely, like you said, it's definitely going to be fun to go into these lands and do. I don't know if you've done the invasion portion of the game mode. I have because I want my red crystal saber.
Wait, that's how you get it?
That's how you get it. And when you look at the customization options, it says as invader, and then it just drops as a random chance. So you don't even have to win. It's just a random chance, buddy.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, we're gonna talk all about the end game stuff later on. Yeah, this might be going longer than an hour.
Well, shoot, we got plenty to talk about.
Oh man, I'm like, yep, we're gonna do this for about an hour. And we're at 51 minutes and we haven't gotten to the weapons yet, which is like the second or third bullet point I had on my list.
Like we said, we're talking about two franchise giants that have deep lore connections, and it's just one sort of conversation starts, time just flies, man.
Yep. So speaking of weapons, I think it's time to jump on in. Starting with blasters. These are a brand new weapon archetype in Destiny. What are your thoughts?
I think these are very cool. I think these are very well done and thought out. To have a weapon not only sound like the blasters and everything else from Star Wars, but mechanically they are sound. They are very good. It doesn't feel like it's hard to use, or maybe a trick weapon where it's like you gotta do this to proc this to do this. My favorite so far has definitely been the hand cannon. I forget the name of it, but it's a big, bulky hand cannon that uses stasis energy, and you can do a good, decent amount of shots with it. It's hard hitting, but at the same time, it's like after 8 shots, you gotta make sure that you can either cool off the weapon or sprint to cool off the weapon with the perk air vent, and to just keep using that weapon efficiently. Then you have something like how I know you're gonna say it, the Han Solo blaster. That thing can be a monster of a weapon if built correctly and with the right perks. It can hit very far. And it's probably one of my favorite weapons to use while invading, just because it's a hand cannon that uses special ammo with a scope. Then you also have the Riker. I believe it's the Rikers with the sand people that go.
I think it's actually Mando's weapon, but it could be the same thing.
Guilty as charged. I don't know much. But to have that sniper rifle be a kinetic slot or a kinetic damaging type is really interesting.
Yeah.
The down part is that it only shoots one bullet at a time. So I feel like I'm firing a musket.
Well, if you kill something, right, then it like sometimes has a chance of not reloading once.
If you get the right perk, yes it does. If not, you're reloading that sucker every time. Meanwhile, there's somebody else chasing me down with an AT Walker.
Yeah, so great callbacks. I got to know more about that first heavy weapon or the first heavy hand cannon you were talking about, because I thought you were going to lead into that with it being the Han Solo blaster, but you were telling me there's another blaster. Wow.
Fix this instantaneously.
Is this like the little holdout blaster you're talking about?
The modified B7 pistol.
Wait, isn't that a primary weapon? I think.
Yes.
Oh.
It's a primary stasis hand cannon.
That's okay. So this is the fun lore bit for the Star Wars fans. That's Kyle Katarn's blaster from Dark Forces, the original Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. Everybody, it's a great weapon. I love how it looks. I didn't have such good luck with it. So you're saying you found a certain drop that was pretty OP, basically, with that thing?
Well, I wouldn't say it makes it OP. There's definitely a perk set that I'm gonna be hunted for. And the role I want is Firefly and Headstone. So essentially, what it is that Headstone, when you kill something with a precision shot, creates a stasis pillar that
Oh.
freezes nearby combatants. But then Firefly also triggers an explosive ignition shot when you get a precision kill. So if you're hitting stuff with a
Oh.
precision kill, you're freezing and then exploding them all in one shot.
Holy crap.
So I want that role, man.
All
I want
right, I'm
that
gonna
role
have
for
this.
builds.
Maybe I got it. I don't even realize it. I didn't really spend
Uh,
much time with that one. But
but then
yeah.
it's like you got. I'm sure you were asking me about one of the blasters. I couldn't remember it. It's the one that you first get handed to by when you get exit Drifter's ship. That all or nothing
Yeah, it's Boba
blaster.
Fett's blaster.
I see. I told you you were going to call me out on it.
It's a good handy blaster. You got
They're
a
they're,
pulse
they're
rifle?
all good weapons. They're all good weapons in their own perspectives.
Yeah, I'm running into the problem now with the lawless activities. They don't seem like they're doing all that much damage. I maybe it's just the enemies. So they still hold pretty strong against any other previous weapon before the blasters came in. I just got to up
Well,
my
when it comes
damage
to the
somehow.
damaging, it's you like in the flawless front or lawless
Yeah.
frontier, is that when you're building that momentum by completing these jobs, these enemies are getting harder to kill.
Oh.
So they're becoming like higher in difficulty,
Oh.
more health. So it's obviously the more jobs you complete, the more difficult it's going to become for more rewards. So whereas like these weapons are doing really good in the first round, main start falling off when you hit difficulty 2 and 3 because it's meant to feel like that. But
Okay.
if you build the weapon, I've always said, if you build it the right way, if you make a good build running with the weapon can accelerate in ways that you couldn't think of. I've
Oh.
been seeing builds where the fast talker,
Yeah. Yeah, the fast talker,
the S
the
meter so quick
yeah.
that can build super meters so quickly that
Oh.
it's like, how does this work? How did that happen? So it's definitely like I feel like obviously there's games that we're gonna be going back and forth to, but it's definitely gonna be like if you want help with these weapons, all you gotta just call me. I'm always there on the frontier.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing is you got the fast talker, which is the submachine gun, yeah? And that is modeled after a Republic Commando, the Delta Squad from Republic Commando back in the day. Those guys had those weapons. The specialized clone troopers had those weapons. So right now I got my shadow trooper, my black dyed or black shaded stormtrooper gear with that gun. I'm feeling like this is Republic Commando, man. I'm going around in the jungles on a special ops mission going, let's take out these Vex, aka these droids, and get out of here. And it's so much fun. And then you have the Boba Fett rifle. But nothing, we got to talk about this moment, man. We got to talk about this. Nothing compares to this Praxis Blade journey that we had to go through. And I know it was maybe a little bit painstaking. It's the fire and ice mission of the game. But you start off by like basically Anor saying, "Oh, we need you. We know you do the light and the dark. Usually we deal with the light, but you're gonna have to mix the light and the dark." And I'm like, "Oh, that's like such a metaphorical. Like this is such a Star Wars centric idea of the balance of the Force." And then this game beautifully has you balancing the dark and light, which has always been a part of Destiny in the first place. So that's why the more I played the game and listened to their lore and knowing Star Wars, the more I was going, no wonder why Lucasfilm Games jumped on board, because a lot of these ideas are not foreign and they're not shoehorned in. Like these are actual ideas that Destiny would be dealing with as well. So that being said, this is a deep one for the Star Wars guys, because if you're watching, you're going to be going through these ice caverns, and it's almost like the Jedi Trials. You're going through these like platforming things. There's like these jumping puzzles and all this stuff with these disappointing floors and whatnot. this is basically the ice caves of Ilum, which, brought in with the Clone Wars animated series was how the Jedi younglings got their lightsaber or kyber crystals, is they had to go through these tunnels and in the ice, and what would happen is there'd be a lot of stuff in your head that'd be going on, and you would have visions and things that you would think are there but aren't there, and that's exactly how this felt to me. And I was like, this is the best version of Elam I've ever seen in a Star Wars game, and this is not even a Star Wars game. So what did you think about this whole mission and experience?
The mission itself, like you said, it was dynamic. It was really cool to jump in there, and especially for the first time, wondering where am I supposed to be going?
Yep.
What's my next objective?
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you get slammed by a wall that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, where did this thing come from? But like you said, the story of being able to balance both the light and the dark is the key point in both Star Wars and Destiny. Being able to wield or essentially understand that you need to have balance in one's life to generate and to do what you think is right and what's wrong, or to not do what's right, maybe do something that's wrong in the name of being good.
Yeah.
The mechanics were definitely there. This was definitely a exotic mission within the campaign, and that's what I think a lot of people liked about it a little bit, was that it's not your typical A to B location mission. It was definitely a mission that had mechanics and everything else to give you that feeling of, I am going to get this weapon at the end of it, and I worked for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. I like how you put it there, because that's why I was like, this is not just no ordinary thing. I'm going through this moment. I'm going through my Jedi trials. I'm going from Padawan to Jedi Knight right now. And you said specific, unique mechanics, like with the orbs, where you had to throw them certain orbs toward the dark orbs, certain orbs toward the light orbs, and then you had a big boss at the end. Like, this was a really well put together package. And then at the end of it, when you finally get that blade, and me, I got the green blade right away. I don't know if everybody gets a green blade right away.
It's random chance.
Oh, okay.
So the two colors you can get, so it's either green or blue. I also got green, and then I was finding out that people could get blue or green, depending. I don't know if it was depending on something or if it was just random chance. But you can go to back onto Tharsis and get the other crystal. Or because at the end of the mission you get a different quest line from her that will give you the other crystal.
Yeah.
So that's definitely fun, and to have so much customization on it, from the color to the mod to the style to the power core to the catalyst. Like, this is an exotic weapon that was highly customizable, all for the right things. Being able to customize this weapon based on how you feel and play. Because I definitely have a build that I've been falling in love with on my Titan. That's like, I can block here and sit here for days and never be touched.
What?
Yeah, there are some Titan builds out there, and like all classes have their own unique build. Like my Titan build, I can put on the Stronghold gauntlets, the ones that are meant for swords, and to sit there and block with the lightsaber indefinitely, and just constantly do and redirect and get bolt charges. The really good thing is that a lot of the customization options are placed on your super. So if you're doing arc, like I said, I'm doing arc. You're building bolt charges, which can then discharge on an enemy when you swing. But if you're playing like something on void, you can reflect these shots back and do weaken on a target. So like during the exotic mission with some other friends to help them get their catalysts done, I'm sitting in front of the final boss, drawing aggro with the tower and just deflecting his shots all day while they're running around doing the mechanics. So yes, I got the easy job because all I have to do is just sit there. But that build, let me tell you, I'm not dying.
Wait, you're telling me there's a catalyst I didn't know about that you have to do certain missions to get? What? Well, I guess I know what we're gonna do after this podcast tonight.
There's four. One of them, I don't know if it's there anymore. There's one that's on to the right of Honor, where the set of tables are, and you can buy the impact core, which is supposed to be it's a power module that allows you to, when you hit things, give you apply the verbs of the subclass. So when you're smacking somebody, you can apply scorch, you can apply sever, weakened every time that
Ooh.
you're swinging and smacking somebody. But the catalysts are definitely in the mission itself. One of them is done through a time trial. One of them is done through just a mechanic. Although I have heard that reports of them being a little buggy and situational. So I've gotten all of them, but I've also heard reports of people not being able to get them
Hmm.
due to maybe some kind of mechanical issue or coding issue.
Hmm. So we've talked a lot around the idea of lightsabers, but I want to talk about how it felt because when you get that thing and the music swells up and all of a sudden you're surrounded by the cabal and it's like the tutorial of how to use this thing and oh my gosh, is it authentic? It sounds the exact sounds of a lightsaber. Not only can you swing this thing, you can throw it. You can throw your lightsaber, and it won't just take one guy out. It can take 3 or 4 guys out around them and then come right back to you. It's so fluid. You're in third person, and the moment you switch to that weapon, it goes into third person. It's like the what's the first slot in Destiny called for the melee weapon? Is that or for the weapon? Is that kinetic slot?
That's a kinetic slot. So technically, the weapon is classified as a special kinetic, meaning that it takes special ammo but deals kinetic damage.
Yes. So that's interesting. That's interesting, and it's exotic. So it's a definitely it's a new weapon class for sure. We haven't seen anything like this. And then you could also deflect, as you're mentioning, which just you can get into so many fun moments. This is why you really want to watch the YouTube channel with this podcast this week. If you're a listener on the go, I urge you to go to youtube.com/starraptor to check out the video content where you're going to get an idea of what we're talking about. But getting back to it, just the idea of the versatility, I guess is the best way to put it. Having the Praxis blade, basically deflecting everything, then switching to like a ranged weapon, shooting them with a blaster, then pulling out your sniper rifle and shooting him in the head and disintegrating him, and then going back to the saber and jumping up and then deflecting and diving in. Like it's so connected. This is why Bungie's the best in the business when it comes to the handling of weapons, because I didn't expect it to look this good. I feel like I'm playing Battlefront 2 again.
I definitely feel like a lot of the general consensus of the lightsaber was well received because it's definitely fun to use, especially when you get to just pull it out and before combat, and they do that little wrist roll,
Yep.
and then the lightsaber comes out. I can't tell you how many times I've stared my friend down in the face, and I pull out my saber, and he pulls out his, and then all of a sudden you just hear dual face in your head, and it's just going. Like I was actually surprised I didn't hear that at one point
I
in
know.
the expansion, but the weapon itself, the customizations, being able to like effectively use it to build, to do so many builds with it for so many classes, it feels such a good weapon to use. You just gotta make sure that you don't hit that one target that goes kaboom or sends you flying off the cliff.
Oh yeah.
Not talking from experience.
Yeah, so such a great addition, such a great addition to the game. So we talked locations, we talked characters, we talked story, we've talked weapons, set pieces. I just the specific Star Wars set pieces I want to gloss over real quick. Just like the idea of escaping from the Death Star, the idea of fighting at the shield bunker, and the idea of Hoth battles and this and that. And yeah, I think that was great because it really, a lot of us have wanted to have a game where we could replay those moments. And unfortunately, the closest we gotten, which is still good, is like the Lego Star Wars games. But I know a lot of you out there, you want to have like a triple A real kind of Star Wars. Like I want to be like Luke Skywalker in the Battle of Yavin, or fighting against Vader at the end. Well, this is kind of the closest we got to that so far in like the modern age of gaming. Oddly enough, is from a Destiny 2 game. So
Hey, when you do it right, you do it right.
yeah, what did you think about like the Battle of Hoth one, where they actually gave us a new mechanic when we're flying sparrows around trying to trip the ATST things?
I thought that was great. I was like, oh, I'm literally tripping up AT-AT walkers.
Yeah,
Like this is so much fun.
yeah,
Um, Being able to like hog tie them, then gun them down, move to the next one. But then I gotta watch out for three more coming around the
yeah.
corner. So it's like it was definitely a fun moment to be like to hog tie, shoot, reposition to do it all again. And and I definitely felt like the whole landscape zone that we got because I was definitely zooming around on the battlefield, just trying to
Yep.
sometimes just hog tying them just to keep them from shooting at me while I dealt with one of them. So
Oh yeah.
it was definitely a good moment there to just apply some of the lore knowledge of these walkers can be stuck by tying them by their legs.
Oh yeah. And then we got like another really memorable one was at the end, the whole trench run in
The trench
Destiny.
run.
Like I didn't like that was straight out of Halo and Star Wars. Like it really reminded me of both combined. Like you're going in, you're dodging stuff, you're going on the wall, you're flying super fast, then you're taking out certain targets in the middle there, and then taking out the core, then get out of there as it's the fire's welling up around you. I thought that was great. That talk about set pieces. That's it's definitely one of the best ones I've seen in Destiny. Period.
I mean, the last time that we got a trench run was the Lightfall campaign when we were in there trying to figure out Strand, or when we were first confronting Gallus for the first time again, and we had to escape from his pyramid ship.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Trench runs are always a fun part of the game because it's that fast action. Gotta dodge to the left, dodge to the right to make a break and exit.
yeah,
I definitely feel like maybe now I could be just coping here. Maybe we get Sparrow Racing back. God only hopes. I would like you can't sit there and give me something this good and this fun and
huh?
tell me that you can't do Sparrow Racing.
Yeah, yeah. And then at the end there, we had a pretty cool boss fight with the Premier Loom, basically out of Return of the Jedi. You got the big battle going on. You got the big like Death Star out the window, and then you got this fight on the bridge of this cruiser, and all these enemies, and pretty cool stuff there. So what'd you think about that fight?
I thought it was definitely like fun. I saw a lot of the Red War fight when we did with Gaul in that little room. So it was definitely a goodwill refresher of like the assets or being able to look at that and be like, oh, this looks all very familiar. But somehow now I have to deal with something new. Um, it was definitely when I started hearing the alarm go, I did not see the timer
Yeah,
of trying to shut down the generator. And I might have panicked a couple times, been like, oh, I have 2 seconds. And I started blasting. Um, but it was definitely being able to see him use this new ability that we haven't seen before. Be like, how do I get by this? How do I deal with
yeah,
this? And then the whole fight itself, it just felt really good in nature. And then, like you said, we went right into the trench run. I thought we were going to be done, and then we go off zooming into the Death
yep.
Star. It's like, and then it was like one of those moments where it's like, am I about to do what I think I'm about to do? And then sure enough, I'm speeding across the Death Star trying to hit the core.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So once we finish that, the story ends in sort of an open-ended way. We know that Bale's out there somewhere. But now, as I mentioned before in the beginning part of the show, this is where the end game begins. This is just the beginning, as Count Dooku once said. And
Hmm.
you have the three factions now that we had mentioned before. And you go through like this little tutorial quest line of just getting to understand that like you can literally pledge every day. You can pledge to a different one if you wanted to, but there's reputation. So it's like just like Star Wars Outlaws and Destiny and Outlaws. It was like you had the Hutts and you had the Crimson Dawn and you had the Pikes and all these different guys, and you'd piss one off, but you would get the favor of the other kind of thing, get different rewards. It's basically that in Destiny. I'm like, this is crazy. You go to Mos Eisley every day. You can go and talk to these guys. They'll sell you certain weapons and different upgrades and different things. And then that's where this new game type comes in because it's almost like Helldivers 2. It's an extraction shooter with destiny, and you get rewards based on different things you can find. And you get them at the end after you survive. And there's a jet that comes through, and you can miss the jump and get left behind. And then everybody has upgrades. You can have 2 new upgrades, different things from like shields to healing orbs to artillery strikes and vehicle call-in. It's great. I really love it so far, and it's on 3 different planets, and they do a good job of making differences in mission types, whether it be smuggling or bounty hunting, different things. They all feel quite. They have the same kind of phasing where it's like, okay, this is going to be kind of like this, but then towards the end they all feel sort of different. But what are your thoughts on these new activities?
Uh, kind of like what you said. I feel like they're definitely fun. I hope that they kind of expand on the idea. Maybe we get maybe some new tech or maybe new factions arise. I definitely feel being able to call in my own AT Walker down
Yeah.
for a mission is definitely a fun little output. But like I said, I've also been doing some invasions, and invasions is equivalent to what Gambit invading was. I go in to a mission that's already started, and I win or lose, I gotta take down Guardians and grab their crests, or get an X amount of kills before my timer is up.
Huh.
As an invader, though, I have to make sure that I'm not caught, but at the same time, my abilities aren't weakened by somebody else's abilities. Like everybody's like call-ins, the renegade abilities, is the same universally power-wise. It's not gonna like outbeat mine. Like if I call in my deflector bubble to keep me safe during a strike, I'll be comfortable from the strike. But guess what? If there's a Cabal pod being dropped on my head, that Cabal pod's gonna crush me because that goes right through it. The AT Walker, like if you don't see it coming or you don't see him coming, which I don't understand how you can't, he's in a walker. That walker can be destroyed very quickly with the right concentrated fire.
Huh.
Or it can be a complete and total menace because he's just far away picking you off and you don't find him. And then the other fun part with invasions is that if you can't find a mission that's in progress to invade,
Yeah.
you go up against another invader. It becomes a 1v1. It is a 1v1 invasion.
That's
It's like
crazy.
who is the better? It's who's the better invader. A lot of times, I win, and then a lot of other times it's just I don't get so lucky. But
Yeah. But this whole end game is so, and it's dumb. What I'm about to say is dumb because that's the point of this episode. But I'm just like, it is so Star Wars. Like this whole end game, it's like you feel like you're a bounty hunter. We're talking about the invasions, and the currency that you're using for these invasions is called a death mark. So like your character is basically like Boba Fett. He's putting a death mark on some other character, and you're going in like Jango Fett with a sniper rifle or whoever and trying to kill him. Like it's so Star Wars. Like that's like Attack of the Clones with like Jango trying to assassinate Zam Wessel, or actually he does successfully assassinate Zam Wessel that way. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. It's like you're trading in the death marks to basically a stand-in for Jabba the Hutt. I'm like, oh, they really thought about this so good, man.
And what's really fun about it is that sometimes even with invading, like if somebody on the opposite team is running a piker tracker or some type of, I think it's a shank tracker, and it's leveled up high enough, you can definitely get pinged, and then you can get spotted before you're like getting ready to get in onto high ground. But once again, somebody's got to be running that in order to have that happen. But if you're not careful or you're not looking, like if somebody's not looking for him, that invader's going to catch you, and he's going to win majority of the time.
Oh, I'm so bad at PvP, man. I just really get aggravated because like it's actually a challenging game mode. Like I've actually failed once because the damn invader killed so many of us, and we were out of like half of our health, but not even done the first phase of the damn mission. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna end well, and it did not.
And sometimes that's where it's that invader can be a real big monkey wrench because he's in there for 5 minutes, or at least he's in there for 5 minutes, or unless you kill him 3 times, or he gets his marks. Once he's gone, he's gone. You don't have to worry about another invader. So that's what's good about that, is that once he's done, he's done. You can also do the activity that's not invadable. Obviously, you get less of the higher tier rewards, but at least you'll be able to complete the mission, get the reward that of what you've collected instead of just losing everything at the end.
Is that the ones in the contested area? That are the ones that give.
Well, the ones that are in the contested area are mandatory invasions.
Yeah.
But it's the difficulty. I think it's if you run an expert mission, you're not invaded. Like that's you're going in there, you're doing your mission to get the gear, maybe like some materials or whatever, or credits. But once you go into master and grandmaster difficulty, that's when you're up for anything. You're up for an invader. But a lot of times the invader has 40 seconds before he can go in. So it's like a lot of times you can predict if you're going to get invaded or not. So if it's past 40 seconds, you're probably not going to get invaded because the game forces the invader to go in.
Okay, I see.
But it's definitely a fair playing ground. Like everyone's evenly matched. Like the invader's not hard to kill. He's as normal as a guardian. Same thing with the people that the invader's going for. They may have a little bit more health due to the game mode that they're in, but you do full damage. Like I can easily, if I can get a good mark up going, I can easily free tap somebody with a scout rifle, and I've done that where I'm far away with a scout rifle. This dude peeks away. I see his outline through the bushes, and I catch him. I know that he was mad because because he was sitting there. He's looking for me, and next thing you know, he just gets caught through a bush. But I definitely feel like this game mode, this style should be expanded on. Either if it's just a seasonal thing, like not even just a seasonal thing, like this is for this activity. But we all know, like you and I both know, Gambit hasn't been very popular, so what maybe this idea becomes the new Gambit standard, where these people are going out, they're collecting, they're banking for the drifter, and now you got an invader that's on the field. And so that's where like I feel like this mode also can inspire being able to be the new Gambit standard.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Like you said, that's a whole aspect of the game that was pretty big at one point, and then it just kind of petered out. But no, for sure, and that's what's so good about this expansion, man. Is like not only did they deliver a really good campaign that actually really makes me excited about the future of Destiny, but then they deliver like end game content, which is the content that we're going to be playing for hours on end. The campaign's only probably maybe 10 hours at the most. Probably that's probably being pretty overestimated.
Give or take.
Okay, yeah. So, but then what are you going to do for another 100 hours? And that's running these missions, which I think are dynamic enough. And what's cool about them is that it's a way to not have to do the freaking portal system that I know they keep trying to work on more. But that was what you call repetitive, because it was like, okay, I have to do this, and this is during Edge of Fate, I have to do this certain solo mission like 5,000 times because apparently that's the best way to get this gear. But I have to do the same thing like 5,000 times, and it doesn't really change. So thank goodness that they have a new pipeline in play now, where we don't have to do that right now. We could just have fun getting these 3-man groups, people running around in ATSDs, and I'd much rather do that than just run through the same cave 5,000 times, you know?
Yeah, and that's I think what they learned from Edge of Fate, because now we're getting into the minor updates that came along with the expansion, because there's always some type of quality of life that comes with each expansion.
Yeah.
these activities are always match made, which lacked a lot of in the Edge of Fate,
Yeah.
because I can go do like solo ops. Obviously, they're meant to be solo. They're quick little missions that I could do while I wait for, let's say, if you're eating dinner or something. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go do some solo ops while I just wait. Whereas it's like there's you and me now, and we're ready to go do a strike, but we need a third. Guess what? We're getting a random as our third because the activity is now match made.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more open to where the game feels like it was prior. Being able to go
Yeah.
and make these teams to be able to connect with other people, because I can't tell you how many times I've ran into people when I've got accommodations for either being helpful for being able to run a build that's supportive, being able to just look really cool while I do it, um, and just going into this LFG standard of the game and just say, hey, I'm looking to do this. Can I get some other people? And people are always down. They're always be like, oh yeah, I'll come help. Because that's what this game is supposed to do. It's meant to be this team building, this fire team-esque activity gameplay. And during this update, we got the arena ops,
Oh
where one
yeah.
of your favorite came back, the catch crash.
Yep. I read that thing about
Where,
500 times for my title there that I'm wearing.
and those game modes are fun. That's
They
what
are.
it should always be. It should always be able to be like, oh, I got a half hour to kill. I can do a catch crash. Just hit the button for match made, and
Yep.
guess what? You got 5 other people that are looking to do that activity.
Yeah, it
And
really
so
brings me
that's
back. Yeah, yeah,
like,
exactly. I think that's what you're. Yeah, it's just like the idea that, oh, that was all solo stuff before. At least Bungie's making it now that we're matchmaking again. We're with other players. Maybe we don't have my wish of having the patrol zone of like Tatooine, where I could see public events because I still really like that whole public event thing. Um, but at least we're getting this now. Things are a lot less isolating than they were before. And Kepler was just such a bad location. It was like no one else was there. It was just you. It's like, seems lame.
well, the other funny thing with the Tharsis outpost was you can hear other people. Like if they have their mic on,
What?
you can hear them.
No
hmm
way.
I've I've gone into other lobbies and I've had other people have their mic on,
Oh.
not realizing it, and I just start a conversation. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, your mic's on, dude. I can hear everything." So what you munching over there? What do you got? And the dude goes, "Oh,
Oh.
just some chips."
That's great. This is the Destiny. See, this Destiny's coming back. You know, it's like it was down for a while after this last expansion. Most people dipped because of the final shape was over. They're like, this is a great time for me to step away now officially. Those that were playing just were let down. Like you said off the top, I think and this will kind of round out our discussion here for the night. Just like final thoughts of the expansion and all. But I think they really came back strong with this one, and this I can't think of any other occurrence, but this is probably the best collaboration Star Wars has done, at least with like the entertainment world. They've done stuff with Fortnite. They've done stuff in other games. It's just been skins, but Lucasfilm Games getting to spin their story where it basically intertwines with the Destiny story so freaking well. Like this was nothing short of amazing. So I got to give this overall a 9 out of 10. And I haven't even done the dungeon yet, but I'm still going to just give it a score of a 9 out of 10 because like there's not much else I could critique. I'm be like, yeah, we didn't fight Dredge and Bale. I would have liked to fight Kylo Ren. Maybe that'll come back eventually in a future thing. That's like a nitpick though. I'm still giving this a 9 out of 10.
Right, and I agree. Well, as far as the dungeon goes, the dungeon comes out, I believe, this upcoming Friday. I believe it's
Yeah.
the 13th. And a lot of people are going to be looking towards that. They're going to be wondering, is this because if that dungeon doesn't support anybody, it's going to be just the flawless frontier or the lawless frontier. I keep saying flawless. The lawless frontier, and that doing the activity, yeah, it's fun, but it can do a lot of burnout. So if you don't have a good end game, it's definitely gonna be there. But I agree without the dungeon being involved as of right now. I definitely say it's at least like an 8. There's definitely some key points in there that I agree with the general Destiny community, but I'd still think outside of the spectrum of like what I look for, I definitely feel like it wasn't as good as like the Witch Queen and the Final Shape level, but it was definitely better than the Edge of Fate standard that we got. And I think once more people hear about how better it is than the Edge of Fate, because player count is a little low because people are kind of like being from it because of the Edge of Fate. But I think the player numbers may start coming back because of how good this is. Like there's always that spectrum of up and down, up and down, up and down. We're down here, and now we're slowly climbing back up. But but I definitely feel like it if they do things right with the dungeon, and the mid title update that we're going to get sometime in, I think it's in March, I believe. That if they do everything right, we could see Destiny climbing back from the pit, and coming back to being to the game that everybody once fell in love with.
Yeah, and what would you say would prevent it from what prevented this expansion from being as good as the Witch Queen? Is it like the campaign layout where it was like a little bit more tailored to like a campaign rather than like you said where it was like you're kind of doing missions you would be doing in the end game here, and then every once in a while we get like a cool campaign type of mission. Is it the story? Kind of where is the? Because I know it's probably not as good as that one, but still as a whole thing, I love it because I'm biased. I'm just like Star Wars, of course. I'm gonna give it a high score.
Oh, right,
But from somebody
right,
like you, I'm like, okay, where does that come from?
so I guess it comes from, like I said, it feeling a little too short campaign mission wise.
Okay.
Like being able to do these missions, and then it's like, oh hey, by the way, you got a side mission over here with the faction. Okay, cool. That takes me away from the campaign, and maybe it builds up into the next mission. But it like we had a total of 6 normal campaign missions, where all these other expansions have had at least somewhere between 8 to maybe 10,
Oh, okay.
give or take.
Yeah.
But the problem with what Edge of Fate did was it was I don't want to say it was too much of a mission, but it was too much of a constant going back and forth, back and forth, back
Oh
and forth.
yeah, that was so annoying.
You start from this point, now you gotta go to here. It's like, cool, I unlocked this zone, but you're making me start all the way over here in a maze. Whereas it's like you had one general consensus of a location. Yes, you went to the outpost to start the next mission, but at least it was all condensed into one area.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so far out of reach to go and redo. Like I did the campaign mission for Edge of Fate on 2 full characters and did a campaign skip for the 3rd. This one I might be able to. I already started on my Warlock. I can probably knock it out on my Warlock and my Hunter if I felt like it. But it's just once again it comes into that balance of where is this balance of campaign missions and details, and the in between breaks between each mission. It also comes down to how good the end game boss fight is. Like the fighting Loom, yeah, he was cool, but it was just like you're saying, I would have liked to cross lightsabers with Bale. I would have liked to be able to hear the Duel of Fates. Like that could have been a good point in there to intervene that.
Yeah.
Like these, like being able to do these missions needs to feel somewhere both in between, not long, but not being dragged.
No, I hear
you. So it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely an 8 because it's all in one spot. It was simple. It was clean. It was boom, 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 and not a constant start, drag, new mission, drag.
Yeah, that's and the last thing I want to touch upon is like I would love them to do more of this. I know it's probably not feasible, I think there's a report that came out that I heard about today where like somebody interviewed them and they were like, yeah, this is the first and last time that Bungie's going to do a collaboration of this magnitude because it is an undertaking between both studios, Lucasfilm and Bungie, to have going back and forth constantly. It's got to be a lot, but maybe it's not. Maybe they'll see the numbers and be like, we could do this again. But even if they don't, the bare minimum I want to see them do is put in more blasters because I feel like that doesn't need to have that much of a check and balance from Lucasfilm. They go like, oh, we want to throw an E11 blaster rifle in there. And they just look at it and be like, okay, cool. Like, that's not going to break any immersion because they already have all these other Star Wars blasters in there anyways. And since that is a subtype, maybe they'll put like blasters like from other properties in there too. Like maybe some other science fiction things that are like laser guns they can start throwing in there, and maybe not making it look as good as the Star Wars ones because those are literally 1-to-1, but they can make something that looks vaguely like something from another property so they don't have to go with the rights, and everybody knows it's like, oh, that's this thing from Men in Black or something like that. But like there's like I mean, I don't even know if there's any guns in Destiny that are modeled after any other fictional franchise anyway, is there? Are they completely all original? Like, there's no inspired weapons from anything else.
I'm pretty sure there is some type of like draws to actual weaponry. So like the Kavasov, the OG weapon, it's an old world rifle. It's just a rifle at its standard. It's not an actual like M16 rifle that we use in everyday life, but it still draws its connections to a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see them expand on certain aspects like these blasters, like you're saying, because I definitely feel like that would definitely be an easier thing to do than to draw up this whole storyline and everything else. It's like maybe we won't get like an in between season where it's Star Wars related again, but maybe it's some more weapons from their universe.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, maybe that's easier to obtain of the assets than it is to get this collaboration going. Because anytime that there's an expansion or collaboration involved, it does take a lot of time to do.
Oh yeah, like I want to see, and I can think of so many more, but I'll say like off the top of my head, give me a Z6 autocannon or a Z6 rotary blaster. Like that would be so cool. They already have the Huckleberry in there, which is basically the gun I'm talking about. But it would be a blaster. And it would be just like this huge rotating, like you have to have two hands that heft up like the weight of this gun. It would be like a heavy weapon,
Well, it's funny. It's funny enough that you say that because I'm pretty sure there is some type of big Gatling gun-esque weapon that's in there. I haven't found it yet. I don't know where it comes from, but it's supposed to be what people are calling in the community the Arc Sweet Business because it's an Arc rotary minigun.
Oh my gosh, that might be it.
Listen, I haven't found it, so I can't tell you the name of it.
Is it exotic? Because that's crazy because there might be guns I don't even have, blasters I don't even have yet. Because I know the bowcaster is probably locked into the dungeon, I think, right? Because I have
the Wookiee crossbow will be a dungeon weapon. A lot of people were thinking like, oh, we're going to get the dark saber from the dungeon. It's yes and no. The main weapon will be the crossbow, but the dark crystal does drop from the dungeon as well. So it might be an additional drop that can come out.
So you're telling me I can get the dark saber in the game, like the black blade with the white on the end, the edge?
Yeah, I have a yellow crystal.
How'd you get the yellow crystal?
You have to do a lot of bounties. So the new system that they have is called the Order. No, when you open up the portal on the left-hand side, there's a bunch of orders that you have to do, like get kills with strand weapons.
Yeah.
So eventually, those common orders drop you a legendary order. And that legendary order, if you complete it, has a chance to become an exotic one. And the exotic one you're looking for is Praxis order something that involves the practice. And if you do that one, it gives you the yellow crystal.
Oh man, I gotta try doing this. Oh man, yeah,
It's
this.
it's it's fun. Where is
Yeah, I'm waiting for the update on if we can confirm what this weapon is because I think there's. All right, so I'll name all the weapons right now as I wait for you. We got the Calcatarn blaster, your kinetic slot. You got your Boba Fett blaster as well. You have your submachine gun, which is the Republic Commando weapon. You also have your lightsaber that is in that slot. And you go down to the other slot, and you have, I would assume that is Mando's holdout blaster. Then you also have Han Solo's like DL-44 blaster. And then in the exotic slot was the exotic slot also has the Mandalorian like rifle that could also be the Tusken Raider rifle as well. And you also have the bowcaster. So I didn't think that there was any other weapon unless I missed it somehow. But
well, the weapon is called Bitter End, and it's this. It's a big red rotary cannon with
wow.
with a grip here and a scope. The best way I could describe it is it exactly looks like Sweet Business.
Oh,
It's
okay.
definitely a rotary. It's definitely a rotary gun, minigun.
Interesting. Very cool. But man, this was a good time because we really, I think, covered as much as we can about Destiny 2. More so than anybody on this channel that's interested in Star Wars probably ever cared about. But hey, we're here, we're having a good time. And hey, maybe that'll convince them and you could jump on, you could join with Fighter and me in a fire team. Just look up Star Raptor and Ghost Hunter 2424, right?
Ghost Hunter, Fighter. It's all joined in the same account because they did account linking way ago.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how people can find you online if they're in Destiny.
Always willing to help. I'll get the job done.
There you go. And you guys already know where to follow me. You can follow me on twitter.com/StarRaptor for the latest on games, Star Wars, and more. Also, youtube.com/StarRaptor for the latest in Star Wars and for the Outer Rim Transmission podcast. And I am also on the Star Wars Underworld podcast and YouTube network over there on YouTube. Every Wednesday with my buddy Matthew, we talk about the latest in Star Wars comics every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So check me out over there as well. And of course, Outer Rim Transmission is also available to listen to on any audio platform, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Find us just by searching Outer Rim Transmission. And on any platform of your choice, please give us a positive rating so it helps the show spread to others around the globe. But oh man, Fighter, it's been a pleasure to have you on here. It's been great diving into your world of Destiny. I know how passionate you are, and I learned definitely so much from this conversation tonight. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you. As always, thank you for having me. I'm sure, like we said before, I'm always here during your end of the year top 5 games.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure we'll cross paths again. And I'm always, as you know, I'm always eligible to answer Destiny War questions because, you know me, I got 4 books. I'm gonna be definitely gotta go looking for the other ones.
Oh man, yeah. So for Fighter, for Bed and Milton, who couldn't be here this week, for Chris, aka Star, that's gonna do it for Outer Rim Transmission, episode 216. We hope to see you out there on the frontier. Have a good one. May the Force be with you always. End transmission.